So to answer your question, okay, I was very intelligent in high school, and there was an incident that happened. I'm not going to go into that, but I went to England, okay, on it wasn't a scholarship, but a study abroad program. I did not do well in England because I, from high school, was being hit with specific weapons. When they don't want you to go in a certain direction, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a molecular biologist. I told all my teachers that. You see, I did not know about the molecular biology mafia. Okay. I did not know about the biological mafia, the biological labs, the weapons testing. I knew nothing about that. Okay. So when they don't want you to go into a certain direction, they will hit you in your brain, okay, and then steer you in another direction, or they'd make you fail in that direction to steer you in another direction. Okay. So when I went to school in England, I didn't do well. When I came back, in England was where the concept for the iPod and the Kindle came out. I was under weapons assault from high school, and I can explain that to you if you want, but we only have an hour and 30 minutes. I want to get into the Empress today, right?
And if you don't mind, we'll probably, for the audience, get into it more. All right. If Rain is agreeing to another show, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, sure. Sure, absolutely. So I came back in 2000 from England with the iPod and the Kindle in my mind. The concept, I want you to understand, when Steve Jobs was questioned, listen carefully, what was the inspiration for the iPod? He couldn't give you the inspiration because these people don't invent, they steal. Okay, I will tell you, and I told the world what the inspiration for the iPod was. The inspiration for the iPod came out of the CD players. And at the time, they had MP3s with batteries. Okay, now watch this. Both was created because I was a college student. The inspiration came out of college students, and college students having very little money. Okay, now the iPod was about putting music onto one piece of tech, okay, and you downloading the music from the internet to a piece of tech. Now, when you think about college students at the time when I was growing up, we had hundreds of CDs. How many of you remember the CDs? Hundreds of CDs, okay? And the CDs would get scratched, they would break, they wouldn't work. And then you had to deal with a CD player, and every 3 days you had to buy batteries. Okay? So, two things about college students, and this was the inspiration. Two things about college students was that they were always listening to music, and they were always lugging around heavy books. Listening to music, lugging around heavy books, and they didn't have a lot of money. So the concept for the iPod came out of me saying, hey, listen, let's just get rid of all these CDs together, put the music online. Okay, Napster was doing it back then, but not the way I said, because Napster was a little bit different. Napster was P2P file sharing. That's not what I came up with. I said the companies, the record players would put the music online, and then the person would buy the music from the record companies, and the record companies would create, like the iPod, because it was originally created for Sony, because the tribe member at the time had a contract with Sony. Okay? The tribe member who I thought was my friend, and wasn't my friend at all, because I ended up getting sold deeper into these programs. I was already sold into these programs, but when this technology came out, they sold me deeper because there are layers to these programs. Okay, so when I went to them because I didn't go to them because of Sony, but I went to them because I knew they were high up in the music industry, and I told them, I said, hey, listen, look. This is a novel project. This is for students. I said, think about it. Look at how you used to get your music back in the days. Not with Napster P2P file sharing, where you spend 5 hours downloading one song. Does anyone remember? I said bypass all of that. I said you encrypt the music. The music is allowed to go on 2 devices maximum. You download it from the company's website, the record companies, straight to device. Okay? And I was the one that told them the business model of how to sell the music. I told them, I said, who has time to go stand in a store, a record store, listen to samples of music, and then buy the CDs, then spend a whole day burning the CDs onto the computer, and then spend another whole day trying to get the CDs to an MP3. That was the reality. Okay? You see, the younger generation, they don't realize this reality. I did. I was there. And all people my age would remember. And he told me, he said, the record companies are not going to allow it. I said, listen, I said, if you don't do it, I said, someone's going to do it. And he said, no, forget it. And then he told me, now, if I understood, if I was not so naive when I was younger, I would have understood how powerful he was and how connected he was by the next statement he told me. He told me, we have no choice but to go after Napster. I knew that the tribe was going to destroy Napster 7 years before Napster was destroyed.
Time frame was about
that was 2000 I went to him. The 2000. Very week. Yeah. So that's the concept behind the iPod. Okay. The concept behind the Kindle. Again, I was a college student. College students had $200 to $300 books. These books weighed a pound each. And your whole college schedule, you needed like 12 books. Do the math. And in my head, I always used to say, if we lose one of these books as a broke college student, you're screwed. Because the college books was $300-400, depending on what you're studying. If you're going into the sciences, if you're going into medicine, your college books are upwards $400-500 per college book. That is where the iPod, not the iPod, but the Kindle came. I told them the same concept. It came out of college student life. Apple and Amazon could never tell you this because they didn't invent it. Steve Jobs was interviewed. He was asked. When I was challenging Apple, I challenged Apple when Steve Jobs was alive. And shortly after that, he was killed. And then they were trying to murder me.
All right. So let's rewind this. Say that again, please, Rain.
Yeah. I challenged Apple to the iPod and the Kindle because Apple got both the iPod and the Kindle at the same time. Why? Because I went to the tribe member. Okay? No one could tell me this tribe doesn't exist. I know they exist because they came after me. They were in my high school. They were tracking these children and hijacking their lives from my high school, maybe even earlier. Okay? So no one can tell me it's not a single tribe behind all of this. And Steve Jobs, look into Steve Jobs' ancestry. He's a bona fide tribe member. I challenged Apple regarding the iPod. And they were trying to murder me. Okay? I had to run out of the United States because Apple was trying to kill me. If you want, go to look up. For those of you who don't believe me, I told you I was born in Trinidad. Okay? Months before I ran out of the United States because I had other inventions in my head. And I said I was going to go to patent it in Trinidad. I can show you my passport. Apple went and patented their smartwatch in Trinidad. They followed me to a foreign country and took over the patent office. Go look it up. Okay? I can show you my old passport where the tribe sent one of the tribe members to fly me out to England. And while I was in England, okay, they launched the iPod on American soil. And I was supposed to be killed. But I knew something was wrong, and I went to another city in England, and I didn't come back until it was time for me to leave. And then I left England and came back to the United States. And that's when their tribe member, super soldier, he was triggered and tried to kill me. He tried to throw me out of I think it was 16-story building. Okay? So no one can tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? No one can tell me I didn't invent. I can show you my passport. The very week they launched the iPod, not the Kindle. The Kindle was launched 7 years later. The very week they launched the iPod, they had me in a foreign country. And my so-called friend, I can show you all of this. My so-called friend who I went to with the iPod and the Kindle was in that secret launch in Cupertino, California. Now, here's what's crazy. The first Apple computer was sold to this small computer store. I believe it was in Cupertino, California. I can't remember. I found that very store, the very store where Apple sold their first computer, on the back end of my computer, spying on me. I made a video of it. Not only did I find them, I found the FBI headquarters back end on my computer, the FBI headquarters in Chicago, 26th floor, on the back end of my computer, spying on me. Okay? I've never been to Illinois. I've never been to Chicago. Why would the federal building where the FBI is located in California be spying on the back end of my computer? I can show you the video. Why would, let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on.
Sounds good. So
yeah,
while you're looking right at your footage, show again, just quick shout out to a few people. So I'm seeing there's someone from England, so shout out to you. I've seen someone else. Where did you mention? Virgin, I know. So New Zealand, all right. Australia area, so shout out to you. See someone that was, Fab Gerard from France, all right. So content de savoir que tu es là, Fab. So
I pulled
Rain is gonna change something, so let's go at it.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I need to settle this once and for all, because they're like, oh, she's not an inventor. I'm like, go to hell. Are you kidding me?
Please do.
Yeah, I suffered hell doing this. Okay, you have to let me present. So this is the video. It's Mountain View, California. Okay, are you guys there?
Yeah.
Can you see the screen? Okay. So we looked up the latitude and longitude. These were the coordinates and the IP address, okay, that I found on the back end of my computer. Okay, so when I looked it up, it went to El Camino Way. El Camino Way, go look this up. This is the very area, Mountain View, California, the very area on the very street where Steve Jobs sold his first computer. Why would they be on my computer?
I got you here. So Mountain View, Cali. All right. So Rain is sharing the latitude and longitude coordinates.
Yeah.
All right. And this goes back to 20, please correct me, 20.
This is 2015 when I found them on the back end of my computer. If you go look this up, let me see if I could play the video, okay?
Got it.
All right. Steve Jobs' boyhood historical site. Okay? Where Steve Jobs sold his first computer. This is El Camino Way. All right, let's see if I can pull it up, okay? Okay. The computer store, the Byte Shop at 1063 West El Camino Real, where Jobs and Wozniak sold their first Apple machine in 76. Okay? Look. Back end of my computer. Look, El Camino Real, right here. Okay? all the coordinates, the IP address and the coordinates. What are they doing on the back end of my computer? Okay, when I traced the second one, the second IP address, it took me to a military base in the same area. Okay. What were they doing on the back end of my computer? Where Steve Jobs sold his first computer. Okay, El Camino Real. Why would they? And my computer was, look, and my computer was not an Apple computer, and I did not use Apple products. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. So yeah, so because I have a bunch of donkeys telling me I'm not the inventor. I say, you crazy? I ended up with cybernetics sold into deep government programs. I mean, unreal government programs because of these two inventions. Okay. Had my brain hijacked, had my body hijacked with cybernetics. And you guys can see the video on my channel. I said, I don't appreciate these donkeys coming in here and telling me you're not the inventor of the iPod and the Kindle. Listen, Steve Jobs in a courtroom said, and after that, I'm done with this. He said, no, Steve Jobs in an interview, he said, well, we're known for stealing. You're like, so what? Okay. Not only was they on the back end of my computer, I found a secret military base on the back end of my old computer and the FBI headquarters out of Chicago, 26th floor in the federal headquarters downtown. Now, why would I be a person of interest to the FBI in Chicago? I've never been to Chicago. I've never been to Illinois. Why would I be a person of interest to them? And I never got in trouble. I was never in trouble. Why would I be a person of interest to them? Because I'll tell you why. After I walked out of that meeting with that tribe member, I started getting followed. I was followed by special forces from a specific country, and that country is not involved, so I'm not going to call their name. It's a country that just went through a terrorist attack, but the country itself had nothing to do with it. It's the tribe member that was special forces, but not from that country. It's a tribe member. And I have to stress that. Okay? It had nothing to do with the country itself. And I need to stress that. Okay? So this is where the iPod and the Kindle comes from. Okay? It came out of high school. Now, fast forward, I'll just tell you just really quickly, some of the other novel concepts that I came up with.
Yeah, now, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't go too much into it, and I stopped inventing. Ouch. I stopped inventing because all they do is they steal, and then they slander me into the ground. Yeah. And then they give my inventions to other people, and I watch them get rich, and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. You people are crazy and criminals. So list out the walking stick for the blind. Okay, so when I was in Trinidad, these were some of the things that I wanted to patent in Trinidad, but Apple followed me to Trinidad. And they got there before I got there. You can look it up. Apple patents their smartwatch in Trinidad. Okay, they went there, I think, at the beginning of the year, even though they knew I was going to go there a couple months later. And I was going to go there to patent stuff in Trinidad. You can look that up. Why would Apple follow me to Trinidad, people? When I moved to North Carolina, Apple moved their entire headquarters to North Carolina. It's real, people. That's why I would never, I'm done with inventing. Anyway,